The Brock Star is back. The Dodgers finalizing a trade for Minnesota Twins reliever and former Dodger Brock Stewart. Who'd they give up? What was the thought process behind the deal? Is the deal done? What else is Andrew Friedman cooking? It's deadline day, and we're breaking it all down next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Roy, the parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Friedman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to Deadline Day at Dodgers Nation, the MLB trade deadline. And in just a few hours, pencils will be down, the rosters will be set, and we already have tons of moves to talk about. We're going to do a quick update here on Brock Stewart. Then we're going to go to the studio. We're going to do a special later where we go all the way up and through the deadline. But we got to get you the latest news, and that is that the Los Angeles Dodgers are bringing old friend Brock Stewart back to L.A. Jeff Passan tweeted the Los Angeles Dodgers are finalizing a deal to acquire right-handed reliever Brock Stewart from the Minnesota Twins, sources tell ESPN. Now, we'll get into Brock Stewart as a pitcher, what he can do for this team, what his role will be, did they go big enough, that kind of stuff. But we also need to see this deal get finalized because the deal has not been finalized as of yet. The Athletic is reporting that the Dodgers are still reviewing Brock Stewart's medical history. He had elbow issues in 2023. He had shoulder surgery in 2024. And the knock on Brock is that he struggles to stay on the mound for long stretches of time. This is a guy that has been very effective. The numbers, the savant stuff, the peripherals, it's a guy that definitely can do a lot of things. I mean, he's a very effective reliever. He's right behind Johan Duran and Griffin Jacks there as far as the trust tree, the hierarchy of high leverage arbs for Rocco Baldelli. But it is the fact that he's never thrown more than 40 innings in a season that is the ultimate knock on Brock Stewart. Now, if he does go to the Dodgers and he does pitch one inning, he will have set a new career high for most innings pitched in a season. Makes you wonder at that point how much he has left in the tank for the rest of the year. But just on the surface level, let's just call it right now that the Dodgers did finalize this trade and he comes to LA. What are they getting in Brock Stewart? Well, they're getting a guy that has been very effective this season. He has really put together a year that really, if he did have the injury history that he did have, that if he didn't have the history of just really not being that guy you can depend on year in and year out, he would certainly be higher on a lot of teams' lists. But still, I mean, you're going to look at a guy, a 2.38 ERA in 34 innings of work, 41 strikeouts, a 1.09 whip in 39 games, and you're going to feel really good about that. And you're going to feel really good about the fact, too, that Dave Roberts said, Andrew Friedman said, both of them have been on record in saying that we are looking for a reliever that can get out right-handed batters. And if you are listing out the things that Brock Stewart does well, the thing that he does best is he's great against righties. He's proven that throughout his career. He's proven that throughout this year. This year, Brock Stewart against right-handed batters, they're hitting 104 with a 178 on base, slugging just 149, a 327 OPS, 29 strikeouts, and 67 at-bats. Those are elite numbers against right-handed hitters. So he's proven to be a guy that can do that. If you look at the savant stuff, right, the stuff that's not the counting stats, kind of the rate stuff, the the batted ball stuff. I mean, if you look at that kind of stuff, this is a guy that, yes, is he Mason Miller? No. Is he Johan Duran? No. Is he David Bednar and Ryan Helsley? On his best day, he can sit at the table with those guys. He really, truly can. I mean, you look at some of his savant stuff, and it's definitely intriguing. It's definitely, oh, wait a minute. This is a classic Andrew Friedman move where you're getting a guy that is just not valued around the league as he should because the Dodgers are willing to take a risk on his injury history, right? And that's what's holding up the deal at this point. So that's why a guy like this is available, right? This is why you can get him under sticker price, because you go to the dealership and, yeah, it's a nice car, but you're like, uh-oh, what's wrong with the transmission? I mean, it's kind of knocking a little bit, right? I mean, you're kind of looking under the hood at different things about him, and then you're just trying to talk yourself into, one, our training staff can keep him healthy, and two, the fact that this is not someone that you're going to have forever, right? This is not a rental. This is not a rental by any stretch like a Ryan Helsley would have been, but this is someone that you look at what he could do for you this year. I mean, he's got a couple arbitration years left, right? He's 2026 arbitration, 2027 arbitration eligible. So he is under team control for the next 2 seasons, which is the same that he was with the other guys in his bullpen, right? Duran 2 years, Jax 2 years. He is the same. Now, we did look at him as a guy that was lower on that list just because the injury history, but still 90th percentile in expected ERA. It's 225. Expected batting average of 183. Fastball velocity, 79th percentile, 96.1 miles per hour. Average exit velocity, 86.9 miles per hour. That's the 92nd percentile. He's above average in K rate, whiff rate, barrel rate. He's elite at missing barrels and limiting hard contact. So there's a lot of things he does really, really well. He really does put up similar type of peripherals of a Ryan Helsley and a David Bednar and some of these upper echelon relievers. Does he have that outright dominance that a Mason Miller or Duran is capable of having? I mean, 29.5% strikeout rate is nothing to sneeze at. It really is. I mean, it's a very effective number. I mean, was he in there in the most high leverage situations for his team? No. But he also won't be with the Dodgers either if they can get their guys right in Blake Trinan, in Tanner Scott, in Michael Kopech, in Kirby Yates. So part of this kind of move is you want to optimize him and put him in the best situations to have success. But also at the end of the day, the Dodgers are in a better position than a lot of teams around baseball in the sense that you just need your guys to perform at their levels. Let's just be honest here. If this bullpen was healthy and performing like they had been all season, they'd be in a good spot. Now, would I have liked them to go bigger? Sure, of course. Why wouldn't I, right? Because I like I said, there is no next season. I want to see this team go back-to-back and do something extremely special, but this is a really good move if you can guarantee his health, and they definitely have him under team control for a couple of years. So they definitely gave up something, and we're still waiting to see what that is. But it is definitely something that fits with what Andrew Friedman and this organization has done. And it is, we can get value from guys that have shown flashes of elite stuff, velocity, movement, strikeout rate, but the one issue is the health. So it's, you're betting on guys to stay healthy, and clearly they've been burned by that in the past. I mean, it burned them with Tyler Glasnow last year. It's burned them this year through some of their starting pitchers as well, with Blake Snell. I mean, injury guys that get injured. But look, I'll tell you this. I mean, the best pitchers out there, they throw the hardest. They throw with the most spin. You look at a guy like Johan Duran, who I still think is, I mean, they gave a pretty top dollar, Dombrowski did, for the Phillies for him, but still, I do believe that, hey, this is a guy who was throwing 104.5 miles per hour at one point. That's down to 100. I mean, oh, wow, down to 100, I know, but still, I mean, when you see velocity dip, at some point, injuries are going to be in play. Now, as far as where we had him on the tier list, Brock Stewart was right there in the B tier, and we look at this list right here, kind of where we have everyone, and these names that have fallen off the board. Mason Miller to the Padres. I mean, you look at the haul that they gave for him. We'll talk about that later. Duran to the Phillies. He's gone. Helsley to the Mets. So now you've got a lot of National League contenders that have added high leverage relievers, right? The Mets get Helsley. Philly gets Duran. Mason Miller goes to the Padres. All three of those teams, they're chasing the Dodgers, and they added high leverage guys. Griffin Jackson on the table. Pete Fairbanks is a guy that I expressed a lot of interest for the Dodgers in getting, and he's someone that we'll wait and see where he goes. Jarren Duran, there's a lot of talk that the Padres are still circling and trying to get him in their organization and bring him to San Diego. Then Steven Kwan. I mean, Steven Kwan really is the big fish from a position player side that's still available. When you look at the market, I mean, you would definitely have to give up massive pieces, a DePaula, a rushing, big-time stuff to get a Steven Kwan. But let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on the Brock Stewart move, the Brock Star coming back? Reason why it took me a couple of minutes to get on here live is I had to do that Photoshop. I had to do that jersey swap of Brock Stewart in a Dodgers uniform. And as you can see, I mean, I think I did a pretty decent job at this. We'll see this pretty soon here. Brock Stewart in a Dodgers uniform. And look, he comes back to the team that he spent a good amount of time with. I mean, just kind of the rewind on Brock Stewart. He was drafted by the Dodgers back in 2014 in the 6th round. He pitched here for parts of 4 seasons. They had him as a starter. They had him as a reliever. And then ultimately, the Blue Jays claimed him off waivers in 2019. And he was back in the day before they had the Mitch White rule, right? The young kids won't know. There was a time when you just ride that OKC Express and get optioned tons and tons of times throughout the year. In a 2-year span, he was optioned 17 times by the Dodgers from 2016 to 2018. So we saw him up, we saw him down. Then in 2021, he had Tommy John surgery and missed 2 seasons. But the last 3 years, he's been consistent. He really has a 2.33 ERA in 83 games since the beginning of the 2023 season. 100 punch-outs, 25 walks, and 77 1/3 innings of work. He has dealt with an elbow injury, dealing with some elbow soreness, had a right shoulder strain. Both those injuries coming in the last 2 years. He did miss the first 3 weeks of the 2025 season this year due to a left hamstring strain. But numbers don't lie. I mean, sometimes, like, I'll give you an example. Dennis Santana, a 1.36 ERA. But when you look at the batting average on balls in play, when you look at the expected numbers, they tell you that at some point, the contact that's been made off of him as far as hard contact, launch angle, things like that, are saying that that's going to even out and that 1.36 ERA is going to go up. For a guy like Brock Stewart, he's posted a 2.38 ERA, but his expected ERA is even lower than that at 2.25, and that's in 39 games. So that's a decent sample size, a 41 strikeouts and 9 walks in those 34 innings of work. So he basically has been what he's been from a results standpoint and an expected number standpoint this season, and it's definitely encouraging. It's just about the health. Money-wise, he's making $870,000 this season. He's got the prorated version of that left at $280,000. He's got a couple more years of arbitration eligibility left, so we'll see what happens. But I'm checking the phones. It's F5 season. Welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live here at Dodgers Nation, #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube on MLB trade deadline day. We're going to do our trade deadline special later at the studio. Stephen Campbell says we should be happy. Mark Senior Steven Schroeder, yeah, because we don't have enough pitchers on the IL. Yeah, hey, he feels like a Dodger already, right? Beer Sama 793. Dodgers right now are like the meme poking the stick with, come on, do something. Look, they have done something. They absolutely have done something. Look, the only thing that this team has told us that they wanted to do, the only area where they've actually been on record, and I was there for both of these. Andrew Friedman, I saw him on the field after they had traded for Alexis Diaz, who, by the way, has performed a lot better. He's looked really good, changed that arm angle, changed the delivery, getting back to that soft contact. After that, Andrew Friedman said, hey, because of the injury, the season-ending injury to Evan Phillips, because of the state of the bullpen, they wanted to get a right-handed reliever. They could get right-handed hitters out. And Brock Stewart has shown the ability to do that at an elite level this season. So they checked that box off. Only other things is, hey, what do you get from Dustin May? They've clearly made him available. Could you get an outfielder in exchange for him? Will they add another bullpen piece? Let's see. Let's check the Twitterverse, see what else is going on. Let's see. Because, I mean, look, you look at, I mean, even the trade they made yesterday with Hunter Fiducia, with Gervais. I mean, this is a guy that, big stuff, big guy sitting at 6'10". They like what they see early on for him. He's someone that could factor into the bullpen in the postseason in some capacity. I mean, we just have to really play it by the, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, 4.26 ERA, 6 1/3 innings wasn't incredible in that stretch. But what the Dodgers are doing is they're adding depth, and then they're going to allow the most effective pitchers that are the most healthy to be a part of this bullpen. I think when you put pen to paper and you look at who can make this team, it really does fill up pretty quickly. I mean, let's run it down here. We could start at 0. You know why we start at 0? Because Shohei Ohtani has the Shohei Ohtani rule where he doesn't count against the pitchers on the roster. You basically get a bonus pitcher, right? You get 14 pitchers, and you still get 13 other ones in a full complement of bullpen arms if you want. So Shohei Ohtani is 0. Tyler Glasnow 1. Blake Snell 2. Yamamoto 3. Kershaw, they're going to keep Kershaw off the postseason roster? No way. He's 4. Then you've got Treinen 5. Tanner Scott, if he's healthy, $72 million man, he's 6. Alex Vesia, best reliever, really most consistent reliever on the year, he's 7. Kirby Yates has to get his act together. He has to pitch well for him to make this team. Doesn't matter what they paid him. They're going to want to make sure that he's effective. I mean, you look at the move they made to get Kimbrel a couple years ago, and he ended up off that postseason roster. Kirby Yates, they feel really good about him. They wanted to really get that version of him, and they gave him a 1-year, $13 million deal. Of course, they want him to pitch well, but if he doesn't pitch well, he won't be on that postseason roster. But if he does, he absolutely will. Michael Kopech brings you to 9. Brock Stewart, now you're at 10. So you got 3 spots left on that roster for guys like Anthony Bonda, who's pitched better of late. He really hasn't had a bad season. Brusdar Graterol, if he gets healthy, he's a guy who induces soft contact and pump it up there. And then you look at the rest of that roster. If those 2 guys make it, Graterol and Bonda, that means you have 1 spot for Emmet Sheehan. He's going to make it. I mean, Robleski, Kasparius, Sasaki, Jack Dreyer, Gervais, and they don't trade Dustin May. So, I mean, they have a lot of spots on this team. Of course, health is always going to be the topic of conversation the deeper we get into the season, which guys are able to stay healthy. But that's going to be a roster crunch if at least 80% of those guys stay healthy. All right, here we go. Hit the Quan. Oh, Dodgers shopping at the Dollar Tree so far. That's from Dave's 5445. Yeah, this really felt like an Andrew Friedman move in the sense that this is a guy that you're taking a gamble on, you're banking on the fact that he can stay healthy, and you're just not paying the hotel minibar prices on a reliever. I think that we saw some uncharacteristic signings from Friedman this offseason when he gave Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates. I mean, Kirby Yates, I think, was a good value deal coming off the season he had, but Tanner Scott, $72 million for 4 years. I almost feels like Friedman's like, I'm going back to being me. Did he have like a little mid-career crisis coming off of a World Series win, signing some of the guys he had, just going crazy? Maybe a little bit. You also had the Shohei Ohtani promise that influenced things, I'm sure. And just the fact that they were not wanting to expend a lot of resources during the season like teams are doing now. I mean, David Bednar, right when we started the show, David Bednar was traded to the New York Yankees. And you look at the price for Bednar, it was really high. You look at the price for Johan Duran, 2 of your top 6 prospects in your organization for a reliever. I mean, the price of doing business is extremely high. The update on the Bednar deal is that you got Brian Sanchez You got Edglin Perez. He's in the deal. Catcher, first baseman. So you're giving up multiple position players as far as where they rank in their system. Let's see here. But the point is, all the top upper echelon relievers that were available, the Dodgers didn't get any of them. And Mason Miller went to the Padres. So the Dodgers, they've stayed true to their plan. It's clear what they're trying to do, and they clear. So Perez, by the way, the 14th best prospect in the Yankees system, according to MLB Pipeline. So Bednar, he's had some downs a little bit. Started in AAA, has been really good ever since. But what grade do you guys give the Brock Stewart move? I think for me, I had him in my B range as far as tiers go. I think that it's a B, but if you put him through that Dodgers lab, if Mark Pryor puts him through that Dodgers little car wash and they just clean everything up that you can clean up, he could get a result out of him in the role they have. I mean, ideally, you want to just hope that the guys they have pitch to their capabilities and get healthy, like Tanner Scott, like the names we've mentioned. But ultimately, he's a guy that adds a lot of upside and high ceiling type of depth to this team. What is a home run? We don't even know the package yet or if it's finalized. This is a live show. Welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live. So here we go. Let's see what else we got. If there's anything new on the Brock Star. So we're still waiting. We are still waiting. By the way, reliever Phil Maton, he's the only other Cardinals player that is currently being shopped. That's from Katie Wu of The Athletic. So Brendan Donovan most likely is not going to be dealt. They have had communication with teams about him, but they haven't, quote, entertained the idea of moving him. So there's another guy. We'll see if Stephen Kwan is moved. Let's see if there's anything new on Stephen Kwan. Let's check it out. Here we go. Yeah, looks like nothing too newsworthy right now as far as teams and rumors. But I give it a B. I give it a B for Brock. I give it a B for Brock. But I do think that if he stays healthy in this organization, I do think there's a world when you look at the prospect capital cost that should be that it could be an A-level move at some point. But it's a B for me at the moment for the Brock Star. Friedman special this deadline. What up, BC? Joe Kelly ain't a deadline pick. We got, hey, D-Mac, do you think we'll get an outfielder, Gracie_Felix? Well, my guy Harrison Bader went to the Phillies. It feels like I was running the Phillies and not the Dodgers at the deadline because I wanted Durant and Harrison Bader. But, hey, Dave Dombrowski, he knows what he's doing. He's been to 4 World Series, and he has won 2 World Series, one with the Marlins and one with the Boston Red Sox in 2018 against this Dodgers team. But that's nothing about this Dodgers team. They know what they're doing, too. They truly do, and they have gained all the respect that you could ever get from this fan base. But D-Mac, we need Quan and a closer from the Lou family 310. LP78CH saying Bonda doesn't like, I'm not going to say it out loud because it's kind of nasty. It's all good, though. But just Bonda sucks this year. Bonda's been okay. I mean, a 3.56 ERA is up from the 3.08 last year, but he's been better of late. The strikeout numbers have been down just a little bit, but we got how long has Deanne been live? Didn't get a notification. I'm not really sure why Dodgers live. Not too long, but we're going live for the super special in an hour at the studio. Cantankerous 75, $10 super chat. Appreciate that. Based on the trade so far, Andrew Friedman is gambling the team as it can win it all without another huge piece. That's a huge gamble, not knowing if the injured players will be any good when they return. Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that's always kind of going to be the case with this team, just for the simple fact that that's where they find value, right? I mean, that's why they spend on other things, because they do understand how mercurial and volatile bullpen pieces tend to be. So that kind of is the case with that as well. But even if Scott does come back, he's going to be bad. D-Mac, We need a closer. What's up, Nando? All right, guys. Yeah, let me go ahead. Here's your grades. Justin Lamas gives it a C. Nando gives it an F. F from a lot of you guys. F minus. F from Nando. We got six pack C. This is bargain binning a little. It's not necessarily bargain binning. It's like you're buying a car that's a nice car but has some scratches on it, right? I mean, one that is not completely known to be reliable. You're kind of buying it when it's a little out of warranty, things like that. But the performance is really good, right? I mean, it's like a Jaguar, right? It's nice, it performs well, but it's in the shop a lot. But hey, if you can, and that's the thing about this deal is the multiple years is interesting to me, but you can't deny the value. And we also got to see what they gave up too. We got a B minus so far. Motter says 15. Ron Stoppable 1985 gives it a C. The Lou family gives it an F. It's an A for the 29 other teams from BC. It's a good point right there. All players are injury prone. I mean, not all players, but pitchers these days are more prone to injury. There's no doubt about it. D-Mac, we already been down this road waiting for the guys to get back and to bit us in the butt. That's a good point. BL boy, D-Mac, we've only had one superstar position player in close to 10 years come through the ranks, so history says trade anybody. BL Boyd, I mean, it's not a terrible point. I mean, look at Diego Cartaya as your most recent example. Get Phil Maton. He's good. Yeah, I'm going to talk about him a little bit. D-Mac, who is our closer? The truth to that is when everyone's healthy, I mean, like Blake Trinan pitched the most important innings of that Game 5, right? Let's not forget. Blake Trinan was the guy that went out there when they went for it in Game 5 of the World Series last year. But then he also got the final out of Game 5 of the NLDS. So it's not like he was closing every single game, but you were putting him in situations where you needed him, to go out there and get the job done. And you look at that Game 5, he went 2 2/3 innings through 42 pitches, and then Walker Buehler came out to close things out. So I don't think you can have a closer. I think you want closer by committee. The thing is, though, you want the guys that are part of that committee to be able to get left out, get right out, have big stuff in the postseason. On paper, they have guys that have the potential to be that when healthy, but Brock Stewart, I think, is going to have a prominent role for this team. Let's not forget, this is a team that lost one of their best 3 relievers in Evan Phillips to Tommy John surgery. It's a team that has Michael Kopech coming back from knee injury. So a lot of big questions, a lot of X factors. They also have a surplus of depth from their starting rotation. Guys can kind of slide in there too. Sawyer Lund says, stay calm. Last year they got Flaherty last minute. I like that point. Luis Robert Jr. Hey, I want my LRJ. But all right, guys, so we're going to do this for like 2 hours in a second here. Buy a car that has mismatched plates and a VIN. That's from Nando3909. Yeah, kind of like yours. Speedy Claxon 217, $5 super chat. Trading for an injury-prone guy to supplement an injured bullpen, and that ain't even all that. I mean, when you put it like that, sure. We got Mets. So the Mets did get Cedric Mullins. That's interesting. I see this in the chat. If you're in the chat, can you please give me accurate information? I do have my phone open. I am currently in F5 mode on my laptop as well. But here we go. Yep, the Mets are acquiring Cedric Mullins from the Orioles for Ramon Gomez, Anthony Nunez, and Chandler Marsh. So there you go with that one. Cedric Mullins was a guy I wasn't too incredibly high on just because he's kind of regressed offensively. Does play center field, which is good. And for me, Felix Bautista, their closer, when he went down with a shoulder injury, I think that kind of limited any chance too, just because you were hoping maybe you get a multiplayer deal. So we'll see. Look, the big fish right now, kind of what you need to know is the Brock Stewart trade needs to be official. Does Steven Kwan get moved? Do the Dodgers move Dustin May? And do they get a guy that can help them this year? Because we're waiting to see this deal get official, and that could also mean that other deals are in play at the same time. We've seen that happen numerous times, and until something's official, that you have to figure it out. But as far as Brock Stewart goes, this could be their guy. If he stays healthy, this could be a positive trade, and you just kind of have to look deeper into it. You really have to look deeper into it with Brock Stewart. That's just the big key in all of this. I mean, you look at some of that stuff, plus some of the way his stuff has trended this season, it's definitely positive. Let's be honest. Like, this is the good stuff, man. This is the good stuff in a lot of different ways. He's got a 129 pro stuff plus on his sweeper. Dodgers love pitchers that can use that pitch. Everything is above average outside of the cutter. So, good stuff. We just need him to stay healthy, and we need the Dodgers to make sure the rest of the guys they brought in to have these roles can somehow get guys back. But yeah, we'll see. And we're gonna talk Mason Miller. I can't wait to talk about those Padres, man. I cannot wait to talk about AJ Preller, who's willing to give up everything. He's willing to trade everything. Everything. The San Diego Zoo, Legoland, Blink 182, Gas Lamp, Tony Hawk. He's willing to trade everything from San Diego to get anything. His family probably. Just to finish behind the Dodgers, huh? But all right, guys, so this is a quick show just about Brock Stewart to give you the latest. I'm going to head to the studio right now. We're going to go live, 2-hour special, take you to the deadline. So give me 30 minutes, 40 minutes, driving right to the studio, popping right in. We'll go in live. And we're going to do some giveaways throughout the show, some T-shirts. We'll have some guests as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. So see you guys in a little bit. Anything goes down, at me on the X machine for sure. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us quite together like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. Fellas tweeted the Dodgers are sending center fielder James Outman to the Twins as a part of the trade for Brock Stewart. So there you go. James Outman, who we've talked about on this show. I've said this entire year. You have to trade James Outman. You have got to give this guy an opportunity to see what he can be at the big league level. He needs a chance to get 500 plate appearances for multiple seasons, show that athleticism, show that defense, and James Outman has been dealt to the Minnesota Twins for Brock Stewart. I think that this is a great deal for the Dodgers just because they clearly did not see James Outman as a part of their future. He finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting a couple years ago, and now he is a guy that really can only play if you have injuries in front of him. He's got power. He's got speed. He does strike out at a high clip. And he's got to figure that out. But the truth is you're not giving up any prospects that are going to be a part of your future. Prospects that you're going to need to trade for big fish type of guys. There's no big prospects involved in this deal. This is a journeyman, essentially potential player in the future that could carve out a role at the big league level. So we'll see. Will James Outman become like a Zach McKinstry? Will he become one of those guys that just was not able to get his opportunity with the Dodgers, but he flourished with another team? So James, he's out, man. He's on the Twins now. And I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's going to be the hardest working guy in that organization. I've got to know James, got to know his dad a little bit, talked to him a couple different times. An absolute stud as a guy, a great guy, works hard, was on this show. Part of me is a little sad about it just because you were hoping that this guy Tarzan could, he looked like Tarzan, didn't hit like Jane though. I mean, he was crushing it that first year. He goes on to have some success. And if you're the Dodgers, you're losing nothing from your future. You're losing nothing. This is very similar to what they did for Hunter Fiducia. So that really is turning into a theme for the Dodgers during this deadline. That's turning into a theme that not only are you adding, but you're also parting ways with guys that you just did not have roles for. James Outman today, Hunter Fiducia yesterday, and then do we see them move on from Dustin May? So this is kind of what they're doing. But James Outman has been traded to the Twins. Yeah, big shout out to my man Kevin Klein. He did say yesterday on the show that James Outman was going to get traded. So respect to him. I like that dude. He's got takes, man. Respect to him that they did move James Outman. James Outman was the catch of the year last night, and today he gets traded. And I think it's a great opportunity for him. I think that he's going to feel sad leaving this organization that he loved and leaving his teammates. But you know he won an opportunity to play, and I think that's a great situation for him in Minnesota, where he'll get an opportunity to play and try to realize that potential. So James Outman going to Minnesota. I want to hear your takes down below on the James Outman move. Here we go. James Outman. Yep. Yeah, I don't like the @Previs on our account names, other chats. I don't know why that is. I'll look for that, Delirium. I do not know why. We will all remember 2023 James Outman. Yeah, I mean, finished third in the Rookie of the Year. That was fantastic. And it looked like he was going to be the center fielder of the future that was going to replace Cody Bellinger. But his big issue is that he just can't hit on that level. But also tells me, too, the Dodgers, you're taking away from your outfield depth. You're taking away from the outfield depth. So this could be the impetus to add another outfielder, right? We know they need to add an outfielder. They just need to do it. And I think that move is coming. If it's for Steven Kwan, we're going to lose our minds. And I hope that is the case. And you have to really give up big time things. And if you would give up a Dawn Rushing, that would fit with the themes of this year, where, like I said, you're giving up guys that don't have clear-cut roles for this team moving forward. But all right, guys, that is the move. James Outman. I cannot wait to get back with you guys in like 30 minutes and continue this party. James Outman to Minnesota. Brock Stewart back to the Dodgers. More moves are on the way. Let Andrew Friedman cook. And we are going to have a party later at the studio because either way, it's Dodgers for life, like Clayton Kershaw said. All right, guys, see you guys in a little bit. And that is the very latest. But go to dodgersnation.com for the latest Dodgers news. Follow me on Instagram at DMAC_LA. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue.